Okay. I'll just turn on my video. Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. So basically, Figma is an online UI UX tool which is used by many people. It is generally used for designing the website beforehand. Like you can create a template for that, and then you can start working on during the hackathon time. You can start building that particular website. Okay, so you have extra time in your hackathon to just for building that. So that's the biggest advantage you'll have during a UI development thing. So let's move on. What we'll do is you can create an account just going to figma.com. If you don't have it, if you have it, then that's well and good. If you don't have it, then just create it. Till then I'll explain what can you do. Okay, so there are some sites that you use basically for getting details like for inspirations. So there are 3 to 4 sites that you basically use. So famous ones are like Pinterest. You can go ahead with Pinterest. So at Pinterest you get a lot of details. If you go to homepage, you'll get a lot of ideas regarding anything you want. And this is one of the best design inspirations that you can use. There are other two which are Behance and Dribble. Okay, so Behance is also one of the platform that is really famous, and it is also well backed by Adobe. Okay, so most of the designs which are present here are developed by Adobe people, but yes, it's open to anyone and anybody can post it. So it's actually maintained by Adobe, but yeah, this is one of the famous ones, and it has really good quality content here. Okay, so you can go ahead and take inspiration from here too. And at the end, also we have Dribble, so you can go ahead with Dribble too. Okay, so I won't recommend one of the platforms, but yes, you can go ahead with doing that too. There's something called, as everybody knows, there's Instagram. But what happens is in Instagram, you get procrastinated easily. So I don't recommend that. Okay. So if you guys feel the same, you can put it up in chat. I'll feel we can connect together in that aspect. Okay. So that's why I don't recommend using Instagram. That's an issue. Okay, so here also you can get design inspiration. You can just search for a particular topic and you will get information regarding it. So that's how it goes. These are mainly the ones which are generally used. Okay. Okay. So as soon as you come to Figma, what is the main issue is you don't have a lot of content. You don't have an ideas how to do a particular project. Okay. So the best thing you can do is you can go ahead and go to this community section, which is present just before this. So as soon as you log in, you will get a window like this. Here you will see recently viewed. It might be empty for you guys, but you will get an option for community tab, which is in beta right now. So here you can search for anything and you'll get almost each and every content you want. You can get plugins, Figma Jam, wireframes, illustrations, everything. So you don't have to look for anything. The important ones are icons, typography, designs, and web designs, or even UI kits. Okay. So the most important one is UI kit. So in UI kit, you directly get the components for designing. Okay. So there's something called as material kit design. This is one of the famous kits which you can use. And others you can look up the ones which you like. You can go ahead and include them in your project and add them. So this is one of the best place you can learn whenever you're new to Figma. The best place to go ahead is this place. Okay, so always try to do that. And then moving on, as soon as you are done, you can create teams here. So teams are basically like you are participating in one hackathon. You have some work-based team. So you will have 2 to 3 teams here. So you can click plus and create another team. You have many options to create teams. So I haven't created anything, but you can create. The disadvantage here in the free version is that you will only get one option to create a single team, and in this you can add multiple projects, but you can only create one. So that's a disadvantage, but yes, that's okay. You can create multiple IDs. You might have school IDs too, and in school IDs you might get exemption from this, and you'll get unlimited access to. So Figma recently started giving free access to all the college students. So I think if you're in college, then that's good. And that's it more or less. Also, you can, if you want something, if you want to include something in your project, just duplicate this from here, and that will be available there. So as soon as you duplicate it, you will be able to see that components here, and let it load for a little bit. So yes, you can see anything here, and you can take up any component from here and you can use it. Okay, so that's how it works. It gives you different components like this. So what we'll do is we'll create something from scratch, because during the projects you won't get a chance to create from templates. Templates are just for references, or you can use them. Okay, so I'll do is I'll create one design file. So basically, you design any file, just you have to go to the drafts tab. First, you can create a draft directly, then you can move it to a finalized template. Okay, so first there's something called as Figma Jam. Figma Jam is in beta mode right now, so I'll explain what it is. It is basically when you have multiple people collaborating at a single project. Like during an hackathon, what happens is, if you're even doing UI UX designing at that time, all 5 or 10 people can collaborate at the same time from different organizations too. So that's a Figma Jam. It's open to everyone, but more or less that's not really important. Whenever, if you're having a big organization or a big event, then that's really good. But if you aren't having something like that, then go ahead with design file. That's simple. 4 people can collaborate, up to 4. You can have up to 100 people also. So you can keep as many as you want. So first you need to just click create tab, and it will open up a draft. Okay, and here you can change the name or anything you want. Okay, so if you want to change the name, you can change to anything. Like today we can do intro to Figma, so I'll just name it. Okay, so you see, you can change the name here, and this is draft. So basically, whenever you create anything, it comes up in draft section. And if you want to move it to the finalized template, you have to move it to the file. Okay, so here's an option. You can move it to your project team, or you can move it to your team. Okay, so the best thing is you move it to your project, and it will ask you for premium if you have more than one. So what it will show, it is moved to first project. Now you can see whatever project you had named, it will move it to that project. Inside my team, I have projects. Okay, so you can create one more team, and inside your team, you will have different projects. Okay, so this is how the structure goes. First, you have to create a team, and inside team, you can put projects. Yeah. Okay. Then this might be in a hamburger icon in many screens. So basically, here you have file, you have edit options, view, object, plugins. Okay, and integration. So plugins are important. I'll focus on it soon. Then there are preferences, integrations. Integrations, they used to directly put up, and if you have made something directly want to put it up to Dribble, you can just click here and it will go there. In your file, just requires some authentication. So just do them as it goes. And moving on, you also have an option to save a local copy. So as soon as you click a save local copy, it saves everything into .fig file. Okay, and you can send this .fig file to your friend, and if he opens it, he'll be able to see whatever progress you have made. Here it's an empty file, so you won't be able to see anything. But yes, if you want to collaborate with someone and his Figma is not working, the best thing is you can click save as a local copy, and you can send that. Okay, and then there's another tab which is known as frames and slices. Slides isn't used a lot. Frames are the ones which are typically the most common ones. So frames, you have a lot of options for frames. So I'll just show you. There are iPhone 11, iPhone, like all the phone templates. Then you have tablets, desktops, presentations, and watch, even Apple Watch, Figma community banners, and everything. You'll get all of the stuff that you'll need for designing. At least you can even start designing here if you are having issues downloading Adobe Android Studio or something like that. You can directly do stuff here and you can collaborate. So I'll just create a simple desktop. So what happens is desktops are easy to handle. And if you're making a web dev project, the easiest option is to take up a desktop. Okay. You can take multiple frames if you want, like there are other frames also. So you can take any of that and there's no issue. You don't have to be specific to a particular resolution. You can take any of them from. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and you can create a custom frame too. So if you want something which is custom, you can create that too. Like if you want some resolution at a specific resolution, you can create that too. And you can modify the width and height of it by clicking select layer, and you can change that. So that's something deep. We won't require that. If you want, generally the default templates are more or less useful. So that's why we use this only. Okay, so second tab we have is rectangle, line, shape, ellipse, and these are the ones options. So we'll first take rectangle. So rectangle is basically the still, and you can change the radius like this just by setting up a point next to it. As soon as you hover over it, you'll see all 4 dots, and it will give you an option to move or change. If you go on that particular dot, you can change the radius of that particular shape. Okay, and that's how it's simple and easy to use. So if you want to make button little bit curved, you can do that, and you can change the width like this. So that's pretty easy. Just you need a simple thing. The most important thing is you should have mouse. Okay, so whenever you're designing, always keep a mouse. So that's one of the thing you should always take care. And you can create almost every component you want. So what I'll do is I'll make this as a nav bar. Okay, so if you have any doubts between this concept, you can just put it up in chat. I'll just see that. And then there's a line tool. Line tool is basically for making lines and everything. So this is very common. You know, if you want to make some underlined text or if you want to separate some sections, you can use line tool. Then there's an arrow tool. Arrow tool is for making diagrams. So in some cases, if you have to make some diagrams in Figma, if you have to make presentations, in those cases, these tools are really important. If you're making UI UX designings, these are rarely important. Yep. Ellipse tool is one of the important ones. So if you have to use ellipse tool, you have to hold shift if you want to make it in a circular manner. So if you have to make any shape uh, which is a what do you call it? A regular figure. Regular figures are figures which are having all the sides and all the angles same. So you have to hold shift. If you don't hold shift, what will happen is it can be modified in any direction. Okay. So as soon as you hold shift, it will just contract in a simple shape, and all the radius from all the direction will be same. Okay. So that's an advantage. So if you have to make something which is regular, hold shift and or command shift, whatever, and then you can modify it. So that's how you do it. And suppose if you have to create multiple, like if you have to create multiple shapes, like similar to that particular ellipse. So like if you have to create multiple sections like this, you can press Control D or Command D, and it will duplicate that particular element. Okay, so it shows a duplicate selection. So as soon as you press Command D or Control D, you can duplicate that particular element. Okay, so that's an advantage, and then you can modify these all 3 of them. If you want to move them anywhere, you just select all of these and you can move them. Okay, so that's how this works basically, and you can align them. It shows direction and how you should align and all of this. Even if you don't have, if you don't know if they are particularly aligned in right direction, you can use these tools, select all 3 of them, and then you can use auto align, so they'll align in same direction. If you want to align them in same height, then there's vertical align center, so all of them in same line. Then there's something called as tdf, distract, and these all are other options that you can see. More or less these aren't that important. Okay, so this is up. Also you can put them together, so if they are working together, if they are to be used together, you can put them in a single group. So you can use Control G or Command G, and they will be in a single group. Okay, so whenever you access them, they'll just act as a group then. Okay, so that's how you group them. Then there's a polygon tool. Polygon tool is basically if you have to make multiple shapes with it. So you can make rectangle, triangle, all the shapes you want, you can create using polygon tool. And you can specify the angles and whatever you want. So if you want to change the angle also, you can change that from here. So you can change all of these using that. and there are various parameters you can do that. Okay, so if you have to change, modify elements, what identify, like change it like 4-figure shape, 5-figure shape, so you can do that using the tool. And then other than that, we have star tool and place an image. So place an image is simple. If you have to import some image from internet and you have to put it in a figure or something like that, that you can do it using place an image. Then pen tool. So pen tool is one of the most famous tools that you know. So pen tool is pretty famous. Why? Because every designer loves using pen tool. So what happens is, this is similar to if you have used Illustrator or anything like that. So if you have used Illustrator, what happens is with pen tool, you can create multiple designs or anything like that. And you can put this up in a single design. You can modify the shape. You can change anything. You can create multiple components with it. This is the most diverse tool to any designer present. Okay. So if you have seen any designer in the world, they will just use pen tool. So what is the advantage of pen tool? You can trace any object. You can just trace this particular circle in the same direction and you can make it using pen tool. So it's the most diverse tool. And if you are into designing, if you want to pursue your career into designing or UI UX designing, you have to work with this tool a lot. Okay, so that's one of the advantages of pen tool. There's also pencil. So pencil is freehand drawing. You can write stuff and you can put your handwritings and everything in this. Okay, so that's how it works. Then we have the text tool. So text tool, it's basically used for writing text. So you can write hello world with it, and I can increase the shape. Okay, I'll increase the font too. So to increase font, there's a tab in right, and here you have an option to increase the font. So you can make it 144. So that's too big. I'll make it 64. Yeah. So that's visible to you. Okay. So that's how it works. You can change the width in which it is available, and you can modify that too. I think even if you write something like this, second, I'll write hello, and you can modify the height with this too. If you hold shift, yep. Okay, so that's how you can do it. You can just use text tool and you can modify the font too if you want. You can select the complete text. Then from here you can drop whatever fonts are available in your laptop. It will show them. So what I recommend is, initially I used to use something called as Montserrat or Poppins. So Poppins is an easy Google font which you can get anywhere and it looks good. Okay, so it's one of the sans serif font families. So you can use that if you want. And this is an easy to use tool. Then you can align it, you can auto align it. And there's an option to modify the text, then how much spacing you want. All of that can be done. Then this is line spacing. So if you want multiple lines, if you want gap between them to be higher, then you can change that using auto. This is 96. I can make it 100 and then it will change. Okay. So that's how it works. So uh, these are the basic features. Then you have align center, align left, and align right. Okay. So these are some of the functions that are present. Then you can change the color of text too using the fill tool. So fill you can change anything. You want it to red, you can change it to red. Okay. So this is how it works. Then there's a pan tool. Pan tool is basically when you have multiple frames like this. So if you create 5 to 10 frames, then you can move it using pan tool. And if you have small space in your mobile device or laptop, then also you can use it using the pan tool. Then there's an option for comments too. So whenever you're collaborating with friends or with companies, clients and everything. So this is really helpful there. So you can write this circle should be big or something like that. This circle should be big. And what happens is, as soon as you do this and you post it, it's available there anytime. And the other person will get an email too, saying that some person has modified this particular project and he's not able, he can access this or he has modified something. So that's how this is done, and it will show you the comment timings and everything. Okay. And as soon as it's done, you can click on resolve and this will go away. So if you have to see that particular comment, so it comes in show resolved comments. Okay. So what happens is all the time if you click it on all, it won't show, but you have to show resolved commits. You have to enable this to see what commit was there. If you remove this, this won't be visible. By default, it's not available. So enable this and you'll be able to see what was the recent comment on your post. Okay. So that's how it works. And I'll just open this in another tab. So I'll just show you if somebody opens it in two tabs, what happens is it shows two profiles basically. Okay, so it shows two profiles from my account only. So it'll show some like it can happen that you can open this in mobile and laptop at the same time. So it shows two profiles at the same time, and it will show the cursor of that particular person too. So it'll show, suppose I have selected this text here. So it shows that this person has selected this text. So you don't have to modify this. You have to wait for that person to change it and then go ahead with doing that. So that's how it works. And you can see whoever you have given access to, they can access this particular file. So moving on, if you have to give access to someone, you can just click share here and you can give an edit access and a view access. So view access is given to someone from an organization, like a person who is seeing your report or some person who is just want to view your projects. You don't want to give him the edit access, so you can give him can view and you can give him can edit. Can edit is given to your team members generally, so you can give it to anyone you want. That's it more or less. Okay, and then you have an play option in top right. So if you click play, you can see all the templates, whatever you have created. So you'll be able to see that in this section. And this is prototype. You just, whenever you're giving your presentations, you can give it in this mode and explain whatever you have designed. Okay, so that's it from the presentation view. And then you have an option to zoom in, zoom out. So these are the options which are present everywhere. Okay, so you can zoom out if you want, you can zoom in if you want. Okay, so that's how it works. More or less. Then we have the left and this top, left, right, and then center screen. Okay, so we are done with the top tab. Anything which if I have left out, you can ask me after the class. I'll explain that too. Then there's a left plane where you will see different layers. So as soon as you create any element, it will be shown up here, and you can look up. If you group it, you can see in group whatever elements are present inside that particular group. And you can see whatever elements we have created will be present here. All the text, everything will be present here in this tab. You can even duplicate this by same thing, Control D, and you will be able to see two screens at the same time. So as many as layers you create, it will create same frames for them. So there are two frames here. That's why two desktops. Okay, and you can modify the name of this too. Okay. So as of now, I'll delete it because we are focusing only on a single screen, but you can create that. And there's something called as an assets. So assets are generally imported. For now, you can import it from like I've created some file here. Okay, team colors. Okay, so I can open that file and take up the components from there. Okay, so I've created colors or something like that here. I just want to download that or involve it in this particular thing. What I'll do is I'll enable this component and I'll be able to see it here. Okay, so this is how it works. You can get styles and different elements from previous community section. So if you want something from community section, just add that particular thing to the team and you'll be able to see that particular thing in the component section if you click enable from here. Okay, so I haven't added anything from here in color section. I don't think I have anything inside it. If I have components there, I can just import the particular component here. Okay, so there are just colors here. That's why it doesn't import anything. So if I create components like this and assets like this here, I'll be able to see them inside it. Okay, so this is how it works if you want to create assets and components. Then more or less, this is the end of the left pane. Then we have the right pane. So here, if you want to add some gradient or background, so here you have three tabs: inspect, prototype, and design. Design is the most important one. Prototype is basically if you have to see this particular thing, if you have to make some interactions with it. So on clicking of this, you want to do something, if you add animations with it. So you can do it using prototype and you can click on interactions. This is an advanced feature. We won't go into that aspect. And there's something inspect. Inside inspect, you'll get the CSS code. Okay, so those who are into web dev, if you want to convert this into web dev, you will get the code too. You'll get whatever color it is present, whatever the CSS code. Just import the HTML component and you'll be able to do it. Okay, and there's one more tool plugin which is known as you can click on manage plugin or browse plugin, and I'll just recommend you a plugin named as which is named as Zeppelin. So Zeppelin is a tool which converts your normal HTML. So Zeppelin is a tool which converts this particular website into an app. So all of the text that's present, all of the HTML you can see, all of the design will be converted to HTML and you'll get the code too. Here also you can get the code for iOS and Android, but if you want specifically the code for HTML and everything, you will get it using this plugin Zeppelin, and you can integrate this in using install and you can use it. Okay, so this is one of the savior components you can use, and this is really essential. Just go through it if you want to convert direct designs to direct websites, so you can use it. You use that. Okay, moving on. So I'll just show you if I have to add gradients. So to add gradients, just come to the fill tab, click on plus icon, and you can select a color here. So if I add red color and I'll increase the opacity. This is the option to increase the opacity. Opacity is basically the amount of color you want on that particular component. So if I want 100%, I can just put up 100 and I'll click it. So I can see both of these colors coming at the same time. Now, what happens is if I hide this particular option, I won't be able to see the other color. If I hide this, I won't be able to see the first color. So any of that you can do. Whichever layer is above, you won't be able to see the color for that. So whatever is above that, if you even enable this, you won't be able to see because red color is above it. So you can remove it if you want to keep it, or if you want to just let it remain like this, you can let it remain like this. If you access more colors, if you want to do that, you can do it like this. Then there's an option for effects. So drop shadow is an option. Drop shadow is basically when you have to add shadow to a particular component. So this is a really essential component, and the advice here is to not put X component anywhere. Just try avoiding X component. Only keep Y and the blur component, increase them. And if you feel the opacity is too high, you can reduce the opacity here too, just by selecting it. But like if you can modify the opacity like this, so it becomes more darker. If you want the background to be little light, keep it around 19 or 20, so that looks good. And X and Y or components you can modify. If you want more shadow to be visible, then you can increase Y. If you want it to be little decent, you can keep it less. Then there's an option for strokes. So strokes are basically borders around a shape. So this is how you can use it: inside, outside, center. Any of this format you can do it. And any doubts up till now? So if I'm missing anything, just let me know. Okay. So then there's stroke. Then there's an option for export. Export is basically if you have to export this particular component, so you can place export and a rectangle will be exported. It will be just a red color rectangle. Okay, so this is how that works if you want to export it. And if you have to export the complete file, you can click file and export, and you'll be able to export that particular. So it will select you if you want to just export this particular rectangle. Okay, so this is an option you can do, which you can use. Okay, and other than that, you can export a normal file also. You can save a local file, or you can even export component. Okay, so you can select the complete frame and then click export, so you'll be able to get the PNG too. So if you want, you'll get a complete PNG. Okay, so this is how it works, and more or less then you can also, like, I'll show you just to add gradients too. These are layers. So inside layers, you can modify different components from layers too. So if you want to modify that, then there are constraints. So if you want some constraint like left it should be a little left, this should be a little right, you can add constraints by default, and you can specify those constraints that they should always remain in the center of the board. It should always remain, it shouldn't be on left or right. You can remove that and put up that they should always be in center, and everything should be moved with respect to center, nothing like that. So this is how that's done, and you can check out this constraint. It's a difficult part, difficult aspect. You can go ahead. And there's something called as an auto layout. Auto layout is a component in which you can completely change the direction of text and content. We can, like, if you can modify the shapes, different shapes if you have, you can change the direction of that particular shape. Then you can give whatever direction you want. So suppose if you want to add more distance between them, you just specify 100 and the space increases automatically. Okay. And this is how you create an auto layout. As soon as you group a component, you will get an option for auto layout directly there. So that's an advantage. And there's this the padding area around it. So the space around that particular option. So if I add this 100, it will space this up evenly around that particular object. Okay. So you won't require padding as of now. So that's how this is done. And then what else? So you can see colors from the particular assets that I've imported. So if you want to enable colors, themes, and everything, you can enable that from the style section, and you'll be able to see those colors here. Okay, so these are custom colors. You can create your colors too. Okay, so this is how that works. And okay, so anything else? Any doubts up till now? Any doubts? If you have, then put it up. I'll handle those doubts too. Okay, and then stroke inside outside. So there's an option for center stroke inside and outside. So it's just around the component if you want to do that, and that's more or less done. And you can preview the object also from export section. So that's an option there. Yep. Anything, any doubts other than this? If you have, you can ask. Any section, any specific doubts up till now? Or I'll hand over to Brady for the further session. Any doubts? No. I think. Brady, do you want to go ahead?
Wait, what? I couldn't hear you. What did you say right now? Could you repeat yourself?
Yep. Do you want to just show a demo for the component section? Like just show them how to add icons and everything. Or I'll show it.
Oh, I can show a mock-up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
I'll
need
stop.
to be allowed to screen share.
Okay, give me a minute. Oh yeah, you can share now.
Okay. Okay, so now I'll be showing like how to make a mock-up. Like I'll be making this page, screenshot page. So it'll be kind of reviewing what a news has gone through. So first let's make a circle for the top, this one. So we want to make a perfect circle. So you want to click on Shift to make it. Yeah, okay. And then I'll just put it here. It's a little big. Okay. And then we need a line there. So you can just click on a line there and then add a line. So it might be not perfectly horizontal. So here you can just change the angle to 0. So then it'll be horizontal. And then just make it longer. Okay. And then we can make this thing here. So we'll need a rectangle. And then you can make the round sides by, so like here, this option here, you can maybe do like Control 20, and then there's the round side of the rectangle. And we can make this, so this 3, it's basically the same, like you can just make this and then make a copy of this and then just make it smaller in size and maybe like shorter. So like here width, you can change it to like a bit shorter, 30, and then we can just move it to the side here and then just copy it for 2 more times. And yeah, and if you want to change the color, you want to copy the color here, but you're not sure what color it is, you can click on, like, so here it's where you change the color, or you can click on that and click on this pen, then click on this. There you will get the color from here. And then we can make the, I guess maybe this one. Yeah, okay. Well, it's very similar to this one again, so maybe you can just make a copy of that, make it shorter. So width, change it to let's try 50. Oh, that's too short. 100, 150. Okay, and then again, you want the color from this one, you can just click on the pen there, and then we can add a word. Get started. And then here, below here, text, make it bold. Maybe you can make it black there. And then we can make it the font size larger. Let's do maybe 20. Yeah, and then move it to the middle like that. And well, that's about the, okay. Oh, and also this one, maybe we can do this background rectangle there. So here we do make a rectangle shape, make the side rounded for a bit. And then, so we want to move this to the back. So right click and then send to back. And then if you want to know whether this one is centered, you can also do like, click on Alt, Alt, and then just move your cursor to the side to see. So right now it's kind of centered. So yeah, we can leave it as it is now. And then this one, we might want to make it lighter. And we want the border there, like here it has the border. So click on stroke, and then there's the border there. And yeah, I think those are the important things. And then now you guys can try maybe making this Uber Eats page. Yeah. And then if you have any questions, just type it into the chat.
Yep, feel free to ask doubts if you have anything. Any doubts regarding this particular topic, anything, you can ask doubts. Okay. Yep. Yep, and you have the access to view it. If you don't, I'll give that. Okay. So that's more or less done. If you have anything, you can put it up, or you can ask me during the hackathon too. I'll resolve your files and I can help you tell what component is correct, what component is incorrect, and give suggestions according to that. Okay, best of luck for the hackathon.
Right, thank you. And then if anybody has any questions, you guys can put it here, or and Discord will be posting the recording. So if you missed some of it, we'll put it there. And a lot of people, actually, compared to some of the other workshops, a lot of people didn't make it because it was later in the night or like different time zones affected. But the recording is available, right? So if you have any questions, quickly put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll start recording and end it for all. Okay, I don't think anybody has any questions, so I'll stop recording.